Robot.
Robot.
Oh wow. Relax by Faise One. Sometimes I wonder to myself, did I do this the true right and the true light way? My plan from out of the gate, that gate being that distinct moment of awareness, wherein I was clear about what I would rise, not set out to do, was to war on behalf of truth. Never did the me, that is the me to you, stray away from that plight, and the war is farthest from done. Did my drive for truth put myself and my loved ones in danger? And if so, what might be the names of worths of it all, if there were any? Had my intentions been impure, might I have been able to aid through the back door? Were these chambers through which I traveled in and out shielded for a reason beyond my overstanding? And did I betray unknowingly the very cause for which I was called forth? Was my juxtaposition just a position, finite in being, valued at a hefty grain of rice? Questions are there, definitely, about the meaning of my impenetrable fixity of aim. I might ask the question about what it represents, my undying resoluteness, re salute ness, as in, why is it that I salute re, the sun, the true light, without halt or any sign of it? What is in me or of me that I know the troubles of the seekers of light, yet I still seek? Doubt is no problem for the one in will, yet who we are in will are familiar with doubt. We are not confused about the persecution and not even dismayed about it. I, care about others and what a world we live in that there requires a flag of caution be placed outside the pillars, a warning, so to speak. Know it to be so. This walk comes with great pains, great rains, great gains, in that order. There holds position a possibility that struggle and strife will not ensue, and the light walker will be met with open arms. No one has met that possibility that I have been told of. All who have gone on to place upon their feet the sandals of ordered steps, responding to a world's SOS, have been robbed of the same by the same. Their garments were torn, their hair was yanked and spat upon, their skin was scorched with excruciating irons of hate. Some of these souls were removed from their vessels, apparently untimely, with a sprinkle of destiny expressed as a final breath, an exhale that reeked of fate. They heeded the sign, and onward they trotted honorably. We hold these, all of them, close in heart, and now I am in this body, a reflection of a moment's blink, and will I be held in that manner by my successors, be it that they may arrive. The clock ticks and talks on, and my day will come. There is a great game being played. Make no error to think there isn't. There have been many assassination attempts carried out against me. Just this year, 2024, on July 15th, yet another, at my place of residence, was shot into. What a game is it that they have mobilized so heavily to try and remove me from this realm? Why do they want to take me away from you? Do know that there was divine intervention on that day, July 15th, 2024, and the enemy was angered and confused because in their mind they were to be successful, yet they failed. I made it known publicly of the occurrence. People compared the incident to the assassination attempt carried out against Donald Trump. Listen up. If what you are bringing forth is so powerful, so upright, so truthful, then you don't have to try and kill what you see as your competition. Those who make their moves to assassinate in any way their challengers are afraid of what their challengers have accomplished or will be able to accomplish. It's all fear. They are mistaken if they think they can scare off the anointed and appointed. It will not happen. What is written will be overseen unto the point of having been fulfilled. As an active soldier, I do what the general or the chief says, and what the general or chief says alone. For a long while did I war to get to the point of being able to receive the proclamation from the source, whose name I come in, and it has not been a vain journey. Reader, after 22 years of his being incarcerated, held in the belly of the beast, I've been given word, and directly from the mouth of the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York L. I will share that word with you. Dr. Malachi Z. York's actual words. Anonymous. I want to ask you a question. Bodhi? You remember the brother Bodhi, the one that can't see? Dr. York. Yeah, yes, with the bad eyes. Anonymous. Yeah, his son. He called himself Phase One. His name is Omari, and he liked to rap about your doctrine and free and clearing up your name. And so he's real popular all over the internet and everywhere and stuff like that. And he wanted me to ask you a question. He said, what's the main thing that requires focus to help you the most right now that he can help you with? Dr. York. Like I told y'all, the help you need is where? At the end of your arm. Don't start thinking you can trust this company or trust that person or trust that. If you're into the music, don't just be the voice. Learn to do what the engineer's doing. Learn a musical instrument. Learn music. Don't just be the person who writes a nice rap and knows how to rap, but you got to depend on the DJ to get the pitch and stuff together. Learn how to do the whole thing yourself and then mean and distinct. So you, a what's the word? Self what? Self-sustaining. Tell him that's what he do and then make sure because of that, all across all of the communities in London and every place else, everybody knows who he is. So that everybody's on his website pumping up for him, even if you don't listen to his music because you don't like rap, but at least you're backing him. Dr. York, that brother you just mentioned, what's the name son? Anonymous, Phase One. Dr. York, he's getting out there, reaching them people in the hip hop world. Anonymous, yeah, Phase One. He want to donate money because he got a lot of following and stuff too, and he just want to know, where do you want him to help? And his rap is mostly speaking about your doctrine and clearing your name. He be going off on people with, like Dr. York. Now, if he has money, I'm not looking for people to donate money. Anonymous, Dr. York, take that money and tell him I said use that money to get a better video. Anonymous, okay. Dr. York, get a better production so he can get himself out there big enough because he's helping to spin that message. Anonymous, Dr. York, get out there and reach other rappers and tell them don't be afraid to pop that right knowledge. Don't be afraid because then nobody can stop it. Anonymous, Dr. York, once there's enough of them out there kicking it, they can't stop it. They can always do it when there's one or two people. They can isolate you. Anonymous, Dr. York, when you got a bunch of rappers all doing it because they believe you, me, because they believe you, me, they tried to stop hip hop, but they couldn't control it. Anonymous, right. Dr. York, and hip hop whipped their ass. Anonymous, Dr. York, and now look at it. Anonymous, Dr. York. All of them guys out there need to be woke up. And back to tell him, I appreciate the thought of the money. I've never been a money person. Put that money into your career to help push you up further so you can help get the message to the world. Because our people are waking up fast and they're walking around in circles because they don't know where to go. The word comes through during the blue light motion, and I'm able to hear his actual voice with my own ears. What more do you need to see to know that I am not driving? I surrendered my will, to the will of divine long ago. Many people have asked me over the years the question of how I have been able to be so patient and poised and composed throughout this mission of mine, which is a mission of ours. The answer? I surrendered, simple as stated, yet I elaborate with the intention of leading others who feel they too have great purpose in this realm. I surrendered my selfish self over to my selfless self, and my soul was renewed. I spoke out loud, and I said, I did not want the I did not have the want to try to have autonomy over things that I didn't even understand. I did not have the want to be anything except that which I am supposed to be. And this meant that I had no want to do anything that went against what I was ordained by the divine to do. I spoke out and asked that my words be not my own. I called out and asked that my hands do works that I could never take credit for. I reached out and asked that I be allowed to be used by divine. I grew because of this. I encourage all great women and men to find that central peace station in which you can release the part of self that may hinder your positively charged growth. That feeling that arises when you wrong someone, pay attention to it. That is your soul attempting to make contact with yourself. It will never be more beneficial to the self-soul connection to ignore that feeling. To pass up the opportunity to right a wrong is to lose a feather on your angelic wings. Whatever comes to mind while reading this, observe it and go and make that right, safely and securely. In the moment where the receiver of your righteous outreach of amendment has even received that outreach, there is an alleviation of weight within the self, lessening the gap between the soul and self. Remember, they don't have to accept the amendment or the making of amends so long as it reaches them with pure intent on your part. When you surrender, you are armed with serenity. I will explain to you in 3 strides how to arm yourself with serenity, embrace yourself for the road of success and the fulfillment of purpose journey. Stride 1. Build up and hone in on a sturdy practice of mindfulness and presence. Begin by cultivating a practice of mindfulness and presence in your daily life. You can activate that mindfulness and presence through meditation, deep breathing exercises, or simply taking moments throughout your day to pay active attention. Quiet the mind, connect with your inner self, and make space to listen to the wisdom of divine. Stride 2. Release attachments and surrender control. Identify and isolate any active attachments or desires that may be causing you to from fully surrendering to divine. Practice letting go of these attachments and desires and surrendering control over outcomes. Trust that the universe has a plan that is just for you, and that by releasing your grip on the notion of specific outcomes, you open yourself up to new possibilities and opportunities that are aligned with your purpose. Stride 3. Align with your higher self and take inspired action. Connect with your higher self, inner guidance, or divine source through prayer, meditation, or introspection. What is introspection? Listen to the silent calls of your soul and hear the resounding signs from the universe. Once you achieve clarity about your purpose and the path stretched before you, take action that is synchronized with your inner guidance. Trust that by surrendering to divine and following your true calling, you will be supported every step of the way. By following these steps and embracing a mindset of surrender, mindfulness, and alignment, which has been called your higher self, you can detach from the troubles of the world and begin to move closer to fulfilling your purpose with grace and ease. With each of these strides taken, you will feel as though your feet are becoming lighter. You will experience a relief of some kind, one that beckons you to let your first nature rise up, one that already held in its genetic programming the knowledge of how to walk as your ancestors walked before you and passed on their parts and their function to you. The parts would be your pelvis, thighs, legs, heels, ankles, feet, and toes. The function would be walking in this case. All living beings behave like their ancestors in some way, as the genetic data regarding the behaviors of that being is passed down to the offspring. That offspring is able to behave then or be like their ancestors. Remember, you are what you do, and your being is based on your behaviors. Behaviors can be broadly categorized into 2 main kinds: innate or natural behaviors and learned behaviors. Innate behaviors are instinctual and are present from birth. They don't spark up with the need for learning or having prior experience. These behaviors are usually genetically programmed and are essential for the survival and reproduction of the living being. Examples of innate behaviors include reflexes, such as the knee-jerk reflex, instinct, such as the suckling reflex in newborn babies, and some basic survival behaviors, which would be breathing, blinking, and sneezing. These behaviors are typically universal within a species and are not influenced by individual experiences or environmental factors. Learned behaviors are acquired through experience, observation, instruction, or conditioning. These behaviors are not present in that point when the living being is yielded forth into the open world. They developed over time as a result of the living being's interactions with their environment. The learning can involve cognitive processes, practice, repetition, and reinforcement. The behaviors can be learned through various mechanisms, including classical conditioning, operant conditioning, observational learning, and social learning. Examples of learned behaviors include language, acquisition, riding a bike, playing a musical instrument, preparing a meal, problem solving, and social skills. Learned behaviors may vary widely among individuals within a species and can be influenced by cultural, social, and environmental factors. Whilst innate behaviors are more rigid and predetermined, learned behaviors offer flexibility and adaptability to changing environments and altering circumstances. Both types of behaviors play important roles in the development, survival, and adaptation of human beings, living beings. There's a tertiary type of behavior that resides right next door to the innate behavior, and that is called natural behavior, which is what the walking of human beings is often categorized as. Walking may also be considered an innate behavior and rarely a learned behavior. Walking is a natural behavior for humans that typically develops as a part of normal physical development. While the act of walking itself is not a learned behavior, at least not in the traditional sense, the ability to walk does require a certain level of physical and neurological development. Babies typically learn how to walk sometime between 9 and 15 months of age, with some individual variation. This learning to walk process involves a combination of physical growth, muscle development, balance, coordination, and practice. They mostly start out by crawling, scooting, pulling themselves up, and cruising before they take their monumental first steps. While the basic ability to walk is innate to humans, the refinement and improvement of walking skills can be influenced by learning and practice. For example, individuals may learn different walking styles or techniques, such as speed walking, power walking, or proper posture for walking, through reception of instruction or through observation. You, on this walk, as you are on this walk, if you are on this walk as a baby, are learning to do and be that which is already in you to do and be. If it were not in you to do or be that which you are learning on this walk to do or be, you will not be able to do or be it. You are learning to walk lighter. You are taking in information, outformation that is providing you with a newly found sense of speed and power and proper posture. And you're learning to walk faster. You're learning to walk in authority and with great power, and you are learning to walk upright. Embody the science of the strides of surrender or the strides of serenity so that you may reveal it to others and remind them of the importance of not only becoming light beings, as in beings who are not weighed down, but also the importance of maintaining that lightness, refraining from regressing back into heavy beings. Never stop walking in the light. Babies may stumble and fall. This is known. If and when you, as a growing baby, trip or slip up, be not ashamed, as you can rise yet again. Just be more careful. Relax. Peace reader. Don't worry about a thing, because every little thing is going to be all right. Hold on. Help is on the way. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. It won't work. We fall down, but we get up. Relaxation is an activity. That statement might not seem like anything less than an oxymoron, but a brief explanation should undo the trick. I could tell you that relaxing is easy, and all you have to do is, well, relax. The background noise, however, would be the truth about how you have to actively relax constantly in order to master the art. The oxymoron bit creeps into the mind because of the fact that most people believe and receive relaxation to be the act of inactivity. And so when those people read or hear something like relaxation is an activity, or you have to actively assume inactivity, they may immediately twist up their face as it will not make sense to them. The way I'm writing or saying it is not how they may be reading or hearing it, though. I'm saying that they will most likely be faced with day-to-day challenges or day-to-day triggers, moment by moment, and they will have to choose. They will have to choose over and over again to procure these challenges and override these triggers. It's highly similar to the difference between in a place versus one's actively paying attention to their surroundings. There's an illustration of someone actively paying attention and someone that is present. Most people may go through their lives never realizing about the difference, as well as what the awareness of that difference can provide for one's experience whilst being human. Pay attention. Being present and actively paying attention may appear to be two intertwined realities, yet they are distinct facets of this human experience. It's akin to two dancers moving in harmonious synchrony, guided by different rhythms. For one to be present on one hand is to be there or here. The spiritualistic meaning of being present is more of what it means to actively pay attention or to inhabit the moment wholly, to embrace and resonate with that cadence of time as it unfolds around you as a delicate tapestry of existence. To those who refer to one's being present in the spiritualistic sense, it is the art of immersing oneself in the right now, surrendering to the ebb and flow of life's current, minus the shackles of the past, minus the barricades of the future. That's another kind of present. The present I'm referring to is the present that means you're in or at a place, as in the word that some of us use to answer with during the taking of attendance. The teacher would call someone's name out, and that person, if they were there, would respond with present. If they weren't there, they would not have been able to respond, meaning most of the time that they were absent. There were also instances in which the teacher called someone's name out, and their not actively paying attention caused for them to not be counted or accounted for, and the teacher did not call them to attention, and they were marked absent. How could someone be there in the classroom, not experiencing any type of hindrance of hearing, and still miss the call? The answer would be that it was because they were zoned out or daydreaming. If ever that were the case that one's name was called and they were present but not actively paying attention, and the qualifier was one's actively paying attention enough to be able to respond and confirm their being present, if someone were to be present and miss the call due to their lack of actively paying attention and they were marked absent, would it have actually mattered whether or not they were absent or present? Take heed in this analogically presented token of the vitality of actively paying attention. So there's being present, as explained above, and there's the other hand, which is actively paying attention. Actively paying attention is the act of sharpening your senses, honing your focus the way a master craftsman hones a sword. It is the precious effort to tune out the kaleidoscope of distractions this realm produces. It is the zeroing in on a singular point of interest. Focus on all. Expand your mental capacity. It is not a trip to the grocery store. It's an opportunity to explore, to watch people, to observe the sounds of the airplanes and helicopters, to take into account each time there appears a yellow car. The yellow car is typically rare, yes, unless your car is yellow or you live in an area where there are yellow taxis galore. You don't often see yellow cars. This is a perfect representation of the Prosh's mind and its interaction with the binary reality within and without itself. The yellow car is like a soft nudge by your best friend, telling you to stay awake during class. You may not notice that you're dozing off, but your best friend can see you. Your best friend can, in fact, see what you can't see. Isn't it important to be awake, aware, and alert during class? Your best friend nudges you, and you're reminded of where you are and what you should be doing, and that you should be actively paying attention. When you're out and about, watch for the yellow cars. Now you have another token. Those yellow cars are a nudge from your best friend. Watch for the reminder to return to the center point, which is the same as realigning the self or refocusing your sight. That reminder is the yellow, red, and blue cars appearing in your scope of vision all at once. What are the red, yellow, and blue cars called? They are primary colors. Primary colors are a set of colors that are fundamental and can be used to create a wide range of other colors through fusion or mixing. The colors red, blue, and yellow are considered primary because they cannot be created by blending other colors together. They are used as a basis for yielding all other colors in the color wheel. When one mixes two primary colors together, they end up with what are known as secondary colors. For example, red and blue equal purple, blue and yellow equal green, yellow and red equal orange. The primary colors each hold a point that forms a triangle around the central point of reality. To see the points of this pyramid in real time is to be reminded of that central point of that pyramid, the dot, or the center, or the source. Seeing red, yellow, and blue cars is an opportunity for activation of attention. You're able to read and interact with the realm around you. I'll give you this token, and you can sit it down or hold on to it. When you see the red, yellow, and blue cars in your scope of view all at once, you are to snap 3 times. You are snapping once for each point of the pyramid, which is a reminder of the way back home to source, both in and out. Watch then from that moment on, when you begin to do this, how many more times you'll see PCVs, primary color vehicles. The yellow vehicles will be nudges, and the red and blue vehicles will be exciters. Each observation of each vehicle and of each color will be a step closer towards ultimate realization. Say realization aloud and actively pay attention to how it sounds like relaxation. Relaxation. A moment of truth can be comfortable or uncomfortable, but a moment of truth does not bring you comfort or discomfort. It only brings you truth. Phase 1. When you actively pay attention, you're not merely a passive bystander, but an engaged participant, ready to decipher all of the nuances and all of the subtleties that tell the truth beneath the surface of the mundane. In essence, being present is the canvas on which the masterpiece of attention is painted, or isn't. Therefore, to truly embrace the richness of the moment, one must marry the serenity of presence with the vigor of attention, creating a harmonious duet that elevates the subpar to the sublime or the superlime. It is in this balance that we uncover the essence of mindfulness, the art of being wholly alive in a realm that is ever changing and ever awesome. We round about to the how of relaxation being an activity. Relaxation is not the art of inactivity, it's the opposite. You have to actively relax. It's very similar to what I've taught in the past. Be silenced. The key is not to silence the monkey. That's an illusion. Even in the absence of sound, there is sound, or the foundation of it, which is in the muteness itself of space-time. So long as your auditory sensory input compartment is functional, you will never hear nothing, not as a human being. There will be sound, even in the space of the lowest decibels imaginable or able to be experienced by human beings. Being that they would be alive to experience that apparent absence of sound, they will still hear their blood flowing, their heart pumping, that blood, the om sound present in the calm and chaos, and the sound of their own breathing. When one activates meditation, even in the most silent environment, vibration, the yielder of what we call sound, is ever present. The so-called monkey, or the noise of the world, or the chaos of the inner self will not be silenced, but brought to order. In those moments, the meditator is the conductor, productor, and protrol by way of orchestration of the orchestra. The productor is not only responsible for keeping the musicians on beat, but also reminding them of what their role is in the grand song. A work whose completion requires many to come together. The mediator does not have to try to ignore the monkey with the cymbals in order to come in contact with pure balance. What do you do when who you are and what you do is being attacked? How do you react or respond when there is someone who is bad mouthing you, or when people are conspiring against you with intent to destroy you, or with intent to neutralize you, or with intent to assassinate your character? Well, after you get up from rolling around on the floor laughing at their ineptitude, I'd advise you to remember that it was your very existence that threatened theirs, at no fault of your own. It isn't just what you do, or what you have done, or what you can or will do that spooks their souls. It is the raging ring of truth that surrounds them, screaming into their hearts that they share a realm with such a force of greatness that they feel as though that same force could eliminate them and all of their descendants. Man. It's the most animalistic response possible, yet that is their response. Fight or flight, as you are perceived to be a danger. You see? It's all about survival, and human beings who are only concerned with surviving will indeed respond like the lion or the wolf or the crocodile. Humans become vicious when met with what they even believe to be a threat. And just like that, book number 15. So let's talk about it. There are countless books spiraling around in my Trueberry. Not a library where the sneaky, snaky people of this world have kept all of their lies buried. Not a lie be wary, but a trueberry. They're already complete. I've only just started revealing this scroll, yet it too is already a finished work. It all begins with an extended foot. Extended foot connects with the ground, planted. You move forward, and the other foot follows suit. Progress. We started with one book, and then another, and then another, and after a while it became clear that that is how many great works are completed. How are many great works completed? It's simple. They're simply completed. Here we are in the 15th book or scroll, and it's on and on from here until it's no further to go. Onward and faster. I and I are one with the green light, so our will is strong, and there's no more time to lose. Take control over your brain. Take control over your life and all aspects of it. It is that time. Embrace your will and hold it firmly. You didn't come all this way to fall back into the old ways of the old world. Here we are renewed in the blue light, and you can feel the rejoicing happening in the stars. You are up here now. Stand up here and never fall again. This is where you belong. If it weren't so, you wouldn't be here. That's not a typo. Only certain beings can speak in this way, and only certain beings can hear what we say. If you have an ear, you can hear. And why else would you be here if you couldn't hear? So you have an ear. In with a deep breath. Hold for 9 seconds.
Read all that again. Read that last page. Read the page you want again.
Noah. We started with one book, and then another, and then another, and after a while it became clear that that is how many great works are completed. How are many great works completed? It's simple. They are simply completed. Here we are in the 15th book or scroll, and it's on and on from here until there's no further to go. Onward and faster. I and I are one with the green light, so our will is strong, and there's no more time to lose. Take control over your brain. Take control over your life and all aspects of it. It is that time. Embrace your will and hold it firmly. You didn't come all this way to fall back into the old ways of the old world. Here we are renewed in the blue light, and you can feel the rejoicing happening in the stars. You are up here now. Stand up here and never fall again. This is where you belong. If it weren't so, you wouldn't be here. That's not a typo. Only certain beings can speak in this way, and only certain beings can hear what we say. If you have an ear, you can hear. And why else would you be here if you couldn't hear? So you have an ear. In with a deep breath. Hold for 9 seconds. Out with that breath. Use that whenever you feel stressed and repeat in your mind, I am centered, over and over and over until you're able to identify with what it feels like to be in control of your blood flow. Feel your heartbeat, connect with it, relax, and give it all away. Become one with the sun, the light. That is the true meaning of the word relax. The word relax originated from the Latin word relaxare, meaning which is a combination of re, meaning back or again, and laxare, meaning loosen or relieve. Therefore, the original meaning of relax is to loosen or make something less tense or rigid. Over time, the word has come to be used to represent the act of becoming less tense, resting, or taking it easy. When you're saying laxare, you can hear it in the tones as lux are or luxore. or lux of re. The word lux in Latin means light. In modern English, lux is often used as a unit of illumination, equal to the illumination produced by one candle at a distance of 1 foot. It is a commonly used term in physics and engineering to measure the intensity of light. Lux equals light. To say lux of re or lux of ray is to say the light of the sun. It is that light, the light of the sun, that causes for things and persons to heat up and become less dense. That's another key. Listen to the words tense and dense. The two are barely distinguishable. To relax or to relux is to get back to re, the light, lux. Being that the sun, called re or ray in ancient Egypt, has rays that cause for things to heat up in the earth realm, one getting back to that light will expose them to that heat, causing they, the exposed, to heat up and speed up, becoming less dense or less tense. Do you see? When molecules, which we are composed of, are heated up, they gain kinetic energy, which causes them to vibrate and move more rapidly. This increased motion disrupts the forces that bond the molecule, whether they are covalent bonds in a solid, intermolecular forces in a liquid, or weak interactions in a gas. As a result, the molecules start to move more freely and can overcome the forces that were keeping them in a more ordered or structured arrangement. When it comes to a solid, as heat is applied, the thermal energy causes the molecules to vibrate more vigorously, eventually disrupting the fixed arrangement of the molecules in a crystal lattice. This leads to what is called a phase transition from a solid to a liquid, where the molecules can flow past each other. In a liquid, heating makes the molecules move faster and further apart, weakening the intermolecular forces that hold them together. This results in the liquid molecules becoming less structured and more free-flowing. In a gas, heating increases the kinetic energy of the molecules to the point where they overcome the weak intermolecular forces that keep them huddled, allowing for them to spread out and occupy a larger volume. These processes lead to these molecules loosening up as they heat up. That's called thermal expansion. Thermal expansion is a phenomenon where substances expand or increase in volume when heated and protract or decrease in volume when cooled. When people are tensed up, they are becoming essentially colder and colder, as their ability to glow and flow freely is hindered by whatever pressure is weighing them down, and they become more and more dense as they become more and more tense. We'd all do well to relax. I know from experience that it can be much easier to say than it is to actually do. It is still the truth. Sometimes one has to just rest, literally. Sometimes one has to just lay down and rest. Rest equals reset. Rest, reset, recharge, re-rise. Resting can assist with the eradication of stress. When one rests, the resting triggers the relaxation response, reducing the heart rate, the blood pressure, and the stress hormone levels like cortisol and adrenaline. Resting allows for one's body to recover from the physical and mental toll of stress, aiding in muscle repair, energy replenishment, and mental calming. When one rests, they're likely to wake up to the experience of enhanced focus and productivity. This is due to the fact that the brain was given a chance to recharge. That recharging of the brain promoting improved and optimal performance. Resting also supports emotional regulation and mood improvement, helping one to manage their stress as well as their negative emotions effectively. Make room for rest. Allowing oneself to take breaks for rest will give you those pauses of the mind that will result in fresher insights and more creative problem solving approaches. The more braced and equipped one feels to be able to resolve when faced with a challenge or difficulty, the less apt they will be to be overwhelmed by stress. Recharge. You can tend to do whatever is demanding your attention at a later time. You can tend to whatever is demanding your attention at a later time. What one may find after having provided themselves with the time to rest is that a lot of these problems are not exactly as severe as they might appear. The illusion of grand severity is what trips a lot of people up throughout their lives. People often obsess over negative ideas and potential unfavorable outcomes. There are many who have been diagnosed with what is called obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD, which causes them to live life in that same state of anxiety and paranoia. This disorder is a mental health condition that is characterized by two main components, as indicated by its titling, namely obsessions and compulsions. Obsessions are intrusive, unwanted, and persistent thoughts or urges or images that churn up significant unease or distress. These thoughts are, most of the time, irrational and can center around themes along the lines of contamination, harm, or even unacceptable taboo thoughts. Compulsions, on the flip of the coin, are repetitive behaviors or mental acts that a person feels driven to perform in response to an obsession or according to rigid rules. These behaviors are aimed at reducing the anxiety or preventing a dreaded event. However, the relief is only temporary, and the cycle of the obsessions and compulsions often continues. One who has OCD may find themselves repeatedly going over and checking things, like whether the door is locked or whether the stove is turned off, even though they can recall it for themselves that they've already checked multiple times. They may engage in repetitive behaviors or rituals, such as washing hands excessively or arranging items in a very specific order to reduce anxiety or prevent perceived harm. They may have the experience of intrusive and unwanted thoughts or images that cause distress, leading to the need to perform mental rituals or compulsions to neutralize those thoughts. People who have OCD may recognize that their obsessions and compulsions are circumstantially irrational, but they don't feel as though they are strong enough to control or resist them. This is what leads to more distress and interferes with whatever their daily activities, work, and relationships are. Note that one doesn't have Asuni. Note that one doesn't have to be diagnosed with OCD to suffer from OCD, as not everyone with it will even think to go and have themselves seen about, so that they could be in the know about their having it or not. And one can be burdened and show similar symptoms without reading as one with OCD. People all over the world suffer from this worrisome condition. I use the word worrisome with great intent. The fact is, the person with OCD has an overactive worry circuit in their brain. The worry circuit in the brain is not a specific anatomical structure, but rather a compound term that is used to describe the interconnected network of brain regions that are involved in processing and responding to anxiety, fear, and worries. This circuit plays a role in regulating emotions, particularly those related to threat detection and response. Some of the main brain regions involved in the worry circuit include the amygdala, the prefrontal cortex, the anterior cingulate cortex, the hippocampus, and the insular cortex. These brain regions work together through interconnected neural pathways to process and respond to threats, regulate emotions, and modulate anxiety and worry. It is dysfunction or dysregulation within this worry circuit that can contribute to the development and maintenance of anxiety disorders, including generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, and obsessive compulsive disorder. Understanding about the neural basis of worry and anxiety can help inform therapeutic interventions aimed at regulating emotions and reducing excessive worry and anxiety. It helps to avoid looking back into the past with ails of regret. Even when you speak the word worry, it can be heard as worry, meaning to go back to, things in the past, were. Don't get too caught up on the future either. What will be, will be. What was, and it is what it is. We are only in control of what we are in control of. Pro-tro. It is good, to have faith, tro. Things may not always go as planned, and that is okay. We mustn't get too fixated on the whether or not of this reality we are in. People worry far too much, and sometimes what people deem as inevitably inherited mental health disorders are conditions that can be altered with the right proditions. Someone's brain can be rewired to such an extent that their previously endured OCD will register as a problem solved. It all takes time. Take a day or two, or a few, to rest and reflect. Start newer patterns. Do things intentionally and persistently to bear witness to change. Must I state that worry and stress live in the same apartment complex? When that worry circuit lights up, stress and worry begin to dance around on your frontal lobe, the frontmost part of your brain that aids in critical thinking, decision making, solving problems, etc. It's basically the CEO of your brain, guiding you through advanced webs of thoughts and actions. When you reach for the device that would allow for your receiving this scroll, or when you open the scroll to begin turning its pages, it may not have been an idea of yours to be grateful about your frontal lobe's functionality, as your being able to move your very hands invites a grand thanks to the motor cortex located at the back of the frontal lobe, which handles all voluntary movements. If you were to read this scroll aloud, your reading it aloud would be sponsored by the frontal lobe. Broca's area, nestled within this region, ensures that you can articulate words and form sentences. When you're engaged in social interactions, your frontal lobe is what helps you to navigate these intricate dynamics and to keep all of your impulses in check. It's the reason you don't just blurt out whatever comes to mind in a meeting or while fellowshipping otherwise. The frontal lobe also plays a significant role in shaping your personality and managing your emotions. It's the part of your brain that contributes to what makes you uniquely you, influencing how you express feelings and how you interact with the world around you. Stress can profoundly impact the frontal lobe. Chronic stress can shrink this vital area, diminishing its. It's almost as if stress casts a smoky blanket over the frontal lobe, blurring our higher reasoning and self-control. In those moments of intense stress, when decisions seem more difficult and our impulses are harder to rule over, it is as if the frontal lobe is sending a quiet signal, urging us to seek peace and clarity amidst the chaos. Don't wait for the moments of stress to activate to reverse the negative effects of it. Make meditation, prayer, and relaxation a part of your daily routine so that your stress management capabilities can increase. Many wonder and do inquire about why I, as a so-called conscious or procious person, continue to use the word prayer. I've attempted to explain about this before, on multiple occasions at that, but it does not seem as though these people are willing to understand the science. To start, as far as we know in this day and time, all living beings have some sort of consciousness, preciousness. To point over in this or that direction and say, here is the conscious community, is to say that only people of focus are conscious. Of course, I'm aware about what they're trying to say by even the word spiritual. I just tend to add a more stable brick here and there when it comes to these type of themes. All living human beings are conscious, procious beings. Human beings are both instinctual biotics and volitional biotics. This means they can act off of their animalistic instincts or they can act off of their godly instincts. Both of these actions require some kind of consciousness or preciousness. Human beings can function as predators. It is already in their nature to do so. This volitional biotic self makes good use of their willpower, which helps them from refraining from falling victim to their urges and desires, which helps them with refraining from falling victim to their urges and desires. Human beings can also be prey. One of the main reasons why many people have rejected the word prey is because it's the homophone of the word prey. I get it. The key is, however, That even though prayer is the art of talking and not listening, as opposed to meditation, the art of listening and not talking, that conversation during prayer is at the very least a positive one. We would rather people be praying than praying. The question bubbles up about who people are praying to. Some people pray to God as a tone and God alone. Some pray to God and Jesus. Some people pray to Jesus alone. There could easily be an unknown number of gods, deities, and spirits that people deem worthy of praise or worship. The same goes for the amount of gods, deities, and spirits that people pray to. You would do well to respect people and their right to pray. I advise that you decide not to be of the so-called self-righteous people who decide to condemn and demonize those who pray or those who encourage or teach others to pray, like the pastors in the churches. You may say that these pastors aren't righteous people and that they only act as though they are for glory, power, and material gain. This could very well be true. It is also true that one does not have to be righteous to influence others to righteousness. If you influence others to do righteous things, and it is so that we are what we do, then you also influence others to be righteous. I was influenced to be righteous by my Umi, mother, and Ubas, fathers, as well as the people who were part of the community I was raised up in and around, called the Nuwabian community, or the Yamasee Native Americans of the Creek Nation community, or the United Nuwabian Nation of Moors, UNNM, community. Note that the latter, the UNNM, when pronounced as is, gives you the word onum, meaning one, that it is what we were, and that is what I am working to make sure that we all return to, in time, calling all others who are willing and able to join us as one. We are all one family, those of us who are those, which are these, or us. The powerful thing about that community in those days was their being able to acknowledge their own errors as the adults, actively choosing, despite how messed up they might have been, to still, at the least, put on display or portray righteousness for and to the youth. You can surely be influenced in a righteous manner by people in your communities or elsewhere, even if they aren't living righteously. Even if a person isn't living in a righteous way, it is not so that if a person does something often enough, is it not so that if a person does something often enough, that something becomes a part of them, as they are what they do, and eventually they will morph into the action stable state, as a being of whatever action is being carried out in their doing. Do not argue with people about their religion, or about God, or about the name of Jesus. Don't waste time arguing that which you have no true knowledge of for yourself. Was Jesus a Caucasian or Caucasoid? Was he a Negroid or Mongoloid? Was he an Ethiopian? If Jesus was a Hindu, would you stand in the crowd and yell out to crucify him? Or would you help him to do the works he was sent out to do, if ever you could help him? Or her? Would it not be an efficient way to hide a Messiah, having it be that they were born a woman? The power-hungry, position-driven men will never see it coming. There are many men who will swear up and down that they respect and honor the matriarch or the power of the woman. Pay attention, though, to how they react to even the talks of a woman actually getting into a powerful position. You will not observe me coming out to combine forces with these men who are all actively bashing a woman, namely Kamala Harris. No matter what they feel about her, that is still a woman, and all of that hateful energy being sent in her direction out of what might appear like nowhere is unnecessary. I am no politician. I do not care for Kamala Harris, and I am no fan of anything about her. Still, there is no need for me to jump out and help these people bash a woman. She is still a woman, and women are watching. They may be under the impression that they are only viewed to be ganging up on her politically, but the women see their ambush for what it is: hatred for women. No one is above reproach, and you don't have to like or agree with anybody. True words. It just shows more than they think when they focus all of this negative energy on one woman. To each their own. I am not of the each that they are. I have said before in my music that I hope that Kamala didn't even wake up the next day. Yes, I was at war with the demon crafts. I see these beings for who and what they are. I did not go on a smear campaign, however. Even if I had, it would not have been right solely because it was me, you see? It is the bashing that shows how they feel about women deep down. This is only an opportunity for them to express it. Why the name calling? Why the degrading statements and images? Hatred. It goes deeper than a disagreement of political opinion. This same jewel was exemplified by me when I crafted the work called Letter to Sexy Red. When I first spoke of doing the letter, many men were reaching out to me with excitement, basically telling me to go get her as if I were their pit bull. I've never been anyone's pit bull or anyone's any type of dog. I'm not to be sicked on anyone or sent anywhere except where divine sends me. They were not happy, those people, to hear that I didn't bash her on that song. That song, Letter, was birthed with pure love. Are there not already plenty men out here throwing stones at her? Why would they even need, let alone want, me to join in and stone her alongside them? Once upon a time, there was a story of a woman who committed adultery, and she was brought into the town by the townspeople to be slain by stone. The many were in agreement with her being murdered. This was to be her punishment. They went on to involve the one called Jesus in the ordeal. They told him to stone her because of her sin, as it was allowed in their way of life to do so. Jesus baffled them with his words that followed. He told whoever was without sin to cast the first stone, John 8:7. They weren't prepared to respond to that. When it was all said and done, the woman's life was spared. He didn't tell the woman that she was innocent. He told her to go and sin no more. He didn't deny her being guilty. He chose not to literally bash her. This Jesus being was no antagonist. He stood to be a benevolent being, going about the business of his Father as a keeper of order. For those who get irritated when you hear the name Jesus, what is your personal issue with that being? Could it be the trick card of the image of him being presented to the masses as a caucasoid? The book itself, called the Holy Bible, never described him as such. Daniel 7:9, Revelation 1:14. Many of you had ancestors who used to pray and call on that name. There are countless testimonies recounting the miracles that came about because of this, especially when many came together in that name. Some will say that those things happened only because of the energy of those who called on the name. They believe that if there were an explanation for why calling on that name does work at times, it would be either chance or the names being charged by the souls of those who used it. Is the latter a possibility? Indeed it is. Do they know for sure whether or not that is the reason? No, they don't. I repeat, it is their belief. There's truly something about the name Jesus. If there weren't, then why would the many broadcast systems and machines try to censor not only the name, as in the letters and sounds that come together to form one word or sound, but also the true message that he was written to have brought forth with him, not from him? Why are people isolated, ostracized, ridiculed for speaking and uplifting the name Jesus? Why are people killed for that name? Sonia Massey. Why was Sonia Massey shot in the eye after saying to two police officers who coerced their way into her home that she rebukes them in the name of Jesus? When she made the statement, it angered one of the officers, a jinn incarnate, whose name is Sean Grayson. With the clear eye, it is not difficult to make out the nature of any being by simply beholding a picture of them. When a picture is captured of a woman or of a man, so is their soul. There are people who will take an image of someone and move to place curses over them or hex them using the same science of the connectivity of people in their pictures. Around the time of the shooting of Sonia Massey, I received word that Dr. Malachi Z. York needed protection sent his way spiritually. Those who understand what that means will know what I'm saying. I'm not clear to go much deeper. I took to social media, asking all who care to take images of Malachi and place rainbows around them. This rainbow is called a Ye, which is also a deity. The Navajo introduced this science. A rainbow was drawn around an image using the sacred thumb to protect the being whose image was of focus. There's a photo of the Ye, and then there's a photo of Dr. Malachi Z. York with the Ye around him. I was proud to see so many people rise up to the task. Above are only a few of the images. There may have been close to 100, all in all. Thank you to all of those who moved when I said move, not because I am the boss of you, but because I speak with the tongue of divine, and I cannot do this by myself. You helped. What are the odds and the evens that the son of Sonya Massey has the name Malachi? What are the odds and the evens that her name, Sonya Massey, when said aloud, sounds like Son Yamasi? Remember that I have taught you, reader, that the Latin root word son means sound, and is the origin of many English words that relate to sound, including sonic, pertaining to sound, as in a sonic boom, sonar, a scientific tool that uses sound to detect objects, sonata, an instrumental musical piece that is made of sound. Consonant, a letter that must sound with a vowel. Dissonance, bad sound. Resonance, to sound again and again. Resound, to sound again and again. Unison, sounding as one. Who is the one who brought the word Yamasi to the masses? None other than Malachi York. He brought the sound, son, forth for the Yamasee, an indigenous tribe of families and united to build and maintain a sustainable nation of, for, and by the people. Dr. Malachi Z. K. York L. There's an image of him in his tribal gear as Chief Black Eagle of the, this writing is a bit small, Asmuni, of the Yamasee tribe of Native Americans, Seminole, Washita Mound Builders, known as Malachi Z. York L., President of the United Nwabian Nation of Moors, the Supreme Grand Master, Naya Malachi Zadok York L. And there's a photo of the registry. No, it's another photo of the P.O. box for the Yamasee Native American Moors of the Creek Nation. This is all of no coincidence. When you say her name, Sonya Massey, you can also hear the word son as the word sign, as this is a sign of the Yamasee. It was said by her son Malachi that she was shot in her eye. Ya mas see. Eyes are used to see. The word Ya means oh in Arabic. Oh masses, see. We all need to see. All are being called to behold he, Malachi, not just the inner circle, or the immediate family, or the tribe, or the nation, but also the Gentiles. The word Yamasi means gentle. Look at these two words next to each other. Gentle, Gentile. Do you see? The master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York, has more to give, and he has asked, and I heard him, where are his helpers? There are other sheep of ours who have not yet been reached. We will reach them. To those who found their way in the later day or the latter day, you are of the sheep that were mentioned in the book of John, chapter 10, verse 16. And other sheep I have, which I not this fold. See. And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold. Them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. John 10:16. So don't be so fast to tear down the name of prayer. Don't be so quick to shoot down the ways of worship. If there are people who want to make contact with any beings who may be above them, who may be in a heavenly plane, as in a mothership, above them, leave them be or join them. To worship is to send word up to that ship. Why would you even have a want to hinder their attempts to make contact? Do you know for sure whether or not there are beings above us? No? Then leave room for revelation. Stay away from those who seek to offend righteousness, and be not of them. Do not be an offender of righteousness, and watch what you see, and literally watch what you see. Protect your gaze. Pornography is literally a trap, and that is why we do not consume pornography. And if you are of those who have made it a habit, and I do overstand personally, as I know the delicacies also, you choose in this moment to release that parasite and to repair your sight. Repair your sight. Let it resonate that it is, for sure, better to lose an offensive eye to the fire than it is to lose one's whole being to the fire. See? When I use the word I, EYE, in place of the common I, the key is made clear. Free your soul from the vaulted chamber, fornix. All of these scrolls I bring to you are filled with wisdom. Know that wisdom transforms and transcends. As a Mason, I was taught that the Masonic emblem is a beautiful system of morality, veiled in allegory, illustrated by symbols. Here's a code I've cracked, and you would not have heard this anywhere else. BSM via IBS, which gives you bosom via IBIS. This is to say, you'll be able to return to that bosom of Allah or divine or center through abyss, which is wisdom. Relax and let go. You have received the relaxed scroll. I love you. Talk to you soon. Peace in the Lamb is truly wonderful.
All right.
Antukatanana.
I just, I shook.
Adusasha.